Welcome back to the channel USA Coins 69, fellow coin collectors, history lovers, and treasure hunters. Today's episode is going to open your eyes to something you've probably passed by thousands of times in your life without a second thought. A coin you've seen in your change, maybe even tossed into a parking meter or vending machine without realizing what you were holding. But if you're lucky, really lucky, this one little coin could be worth a small fortune. That we're talking about the Washington $quarter from 1967. You know the one. It's got the bold, stoic profile of George Washington on the front, that classic eagle spread wide on the back. But the story of the 1967 quarter is a lot deeper than just metal and minting. It's a story of transition, mystery, and money. Now, before you dig through your pockets, let's take a moment to understand what makes this particular coin so fascinating. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932, as a one-year commemorative piece to honor the 200th birthday of America's first president. But it was so well received that it never went away. The design stuck. For decades, the quarter featured George Washington on the obverse and a heraldic eagle on the reverse, until the modern state quarters program kicked off in 1999. But in the 1960s, the Washington quarter saw a massive shift, one that turned everyday pocket change into pieces of American history, and 1967 was right in the middle of that transition. To truly understand the 1967 quarter, we need to travel back a bit further. Before 1965, quarters were made of 90% silver. Real silver. They had weight, shine, and value. But by the mid-1960s, silver prices were climbing, and it became more expensive to produce the coins than their face value. People were hoarding silver coins, pulling them out of circulation faster than the government could mint them. So in 1965, the U.S. Mint made a bold change. They stopped producing silver quarters for circulation and switched to a new composition, what's called a clad coin. These new quarters were made with a core of copper, sandwiched between layers of copper-nickel. Lighter, cheaper, and not worth melting down. Now here's where the 1967 quarter becomes interesting. Because 1967 falls into a rare window of American coinage history, a time when the mint was taking extraordinary measures to prevent coin hoarding. In 1965, 1966, and 1967, the U.S. Mint did not use mint marks. That's right. For these 3 years, all coins were struck without a mint mark. No D for Denver, no S for San Francisco, no P for Philadelphia, nothing. This was a decision made intentionally to discourage collectors from hoarding coins from different mints during a time of coin shortages and public anxiety over silver coinage disappearing. So if you have a 1967 quarter and you're looking for the mint mark, you won't find it. That alone makes this coin feel like part of a secret club, a stealth coin from a unique period in U.S. history. But now let's talk about why the 1967 Washington quarter might be more than just a relic of monetary policy, why it could actually be worth thousands, and in some cases, a shocking six-figure sum. First, condition. As we've said before in other videos, condition is everything. Most of the 1967 quarters you'll find in circulation are worn down, nicked, and scratched. They've been through thousands of hands over the years. But a small number of these coins have survived in pristine, uncirculated, or even mint state condition, flawless examples with brilliant luster and sharp detail. And then there's the next layer, errors and varieties. The 1967 quarter was minted in large numbers, but within those millions, some rare and valuable errors occurred. Things like double dies, where the coin was struck twice by accident, causing a doubling in the letters or numbers. Off-center strikes, where the coin is stamped improperly and the design is partially missing. Clipped planchets, where the blank metal wasn't cut properly, leaving a crescent missing. Strike-through errors, where foreign objects got between the die and the planchet during striking. Each of these errors can significantly raise a coin's value. But the crown jewel, the true holy grail, is a 1967 quarter that was accidentally struck on a 90% silver planchet, a leftover from the pre-1965 silver coinage era. These are extremely rare, but they do exist. They were likely minting mistakes caused by leftover silver blanks still in the machinery or mixed in with new clad blanks, when authenticated, a 1967 silver quarter can fetch massive sums, especially if it's in great condition. These silver planchet errors are often verified through weight, since silver quarters are heavier than clad ones, and through professional grading and X-ray fluorescence testing. Now, let's throw one more twist into the mix. There are also a small number of 1967 quarters that were struck as proofs or special mint sets, coins that were not intended for general circulation, but for collectors. Some of these coins have mirror-like fields, frosty details, and incredibly high grades. A few even have cameo or deep cameo finishes, which are extremely rare from this year due to the way the mint was producing coins at the time. So how do you know if your 1967 quarter is special? Start by checking the condition. If it looks brand new, shiny, and undamaged, that's a good sign. Then look for signs of an error, doubling, off-center designs, or strange coloration. If the coin seems unusually heavy, or has a ringing sound when dropped on a hard surface, you might just have a silver planchet error. Your best bet? Send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC for evaluation. They'll test it, weigh it, and grade it on a scale from 1 to 70. The higher the grade, the higher the value. And if your coin turns out to be a rare silver strike, an error variety, or a top-grade specimen, it could be worth far more than you ever imagined. And now, we've arrived at the moment you've been waiting for. After all the history, design, errors, and possibilities, just how much can a 1967 Washington quarter be worth? Are you ready? Because in one verified case, a rare mint condition error coin from 1967, authenticated, preserved, and coveted by collectors, sold for a jaw-dropping sum. That coin was valued at $122,000. Yes, you heard that right. $122,000, for a single quarter. A coin you might overlook in your spare change. A coin you might have right now sitting in a coin jar, hidden in a drawer, or resting in an old album from your grandparents. So what are you waiting for? Start searching. Go through your quarters. Check your change. Look for those hidden gems, the ones with no mint mark, sharp details, strange weights, or odd patterns. And if you find one that looks suspiciously perfect, don't spend it. Get it checked. You could be holding a piece of American history worth more than most luxury cars. If this video opened your eyes to the incredible world of rare coins, hit that like button to show your support. Subscribe to the channel if you want more deep dives into rare finds, forgotten treasures, and hidden wealth. And don't forget to ring the bell so you never miss another rare coin reveal. Let us know in the comments, have you ever come across a rare quarter? Have an unusual 1967 coin sitting in your collection? Tell us your story. We'd love to feature some of your finds in future videos. Today, we're diving deep into a coin that most people see every single day without realizing what it could be worth. A coin so common it's almost invisible. But for the few who know what to look for, this coin can unlock a hidden fortune. We're talking about the United States of America Washington quarter dollar from the year 1970, and specifically, the ones that carry a mint mark. Yes, you heard that right. That little 25-cent piece you've probably dropped in a soda machine, tossed in a toll booth, or flipped during a football game, could be worth thousands, even more. But the trick is knowing exactly what makes this particular coin so valuable. So grab your magnifying glass, your old coin jar, and your curiosity, because you're about to learn the fascinating truth about the 1970 Washington quarter. Let's start with the basics. The Washington quarter has been around since 1932. That's when it was first introduced to celebrate the 200th birthday of George Washington. The design features the powerful profile of the first U.S. president, facing left, with the word "Liberty" overhead, "In God We Trust," tucked neatly under his chin, and the date below. On the reverse, a fierce-looking eagle, wings spread, perched on a bundle of arrows, surrounded by olive branches of peace. It's an iconic American coin. But in 1970, something happened, something subtle, but significant. That year marked the end of a turbulent decade in America. Vietnam was still raging. The Beatles had just broken up. Gas cost about 36 cents a gallon, and people were still recovering from the financial shakeup of the late In the world of coins, the U.S. Mint was in the middle of adjusting how and where coins were produced. Silver had been removed from most coins starting in 1965. From then on, the U.S. shifted to clad coinage, layers of copper and nickel sandwiched together. That included the quarter, which by 1970, was a fully copper-nickel clad coin. So why would a 1970 quarter, which isn't silver, which looks like any other quarter, be worth anything more than face value? Oh, just wait, because here's where it gets interesting. That year, the Mint produced Washington quarters in 3 different locations: Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco. Quarters from Philadelphia carry no mint mark, Denver quarters have a small D mint mark, and San Francisco quarters bear an S. Now, here's a fun fact most people don't know. The San Francisco Mint, by 1970, was primarily focused on producing coins for collectors. They were issuing proof coins, high-quality examples with mirror-like finishes and frosted details, meant for coin sets, not for everyday circulation, but every now and then, something went wrong. A few quarters that were struck at the San Francisco Mint ended up being far more than meets the eye. Coins that weren't supposed to make it out of the minting room did. Some had errors. Some were struck on the wrong planchets. And others, very few, were printed over coins that should never have been used in the first place. One of the most mysterious examples involves quarters that were accidentally struck over a 1941 Canadian quarter. Yes, you heard that right. The U.S. Mint, somehow, in some weird twist of history, used leftover blanks or coins from Canada, and pressed the Washington design on top of them. If you look closely at these incredibly rare coins, you can still see traces of the original Canadian coin underneath. Bits of the original date. Parts of the maple leaf. Letters from the old legend peeking through the U.S. design like a ghost of the past. These double-stamped or overstruck error coins are extremely rare. And they've become the holy grail for serious collectors. Now let's shift gears for a second and talk about condition. Because even without bizarre overstrikes, a 1970 quarter can be worth serious money if it's in flawless condition. We're talking about coins that have never been circulated. No scratches. No wear. Just sharp, clean lines, reflective surfaces, and full detail from rim to rim. These coins, especially when graded MS-67 or higher, can command hundreds or even thousands of dollars at auction. Combine that condition with a rare mint mark, a proof strike, or a mint error, and now you're dealing with a coin that's almost priceless to the right buyer. Other rare varieties to keep an eye out for include double die obverse. Look for doubling in the words "Liberty" or "In God We Trust." Off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing or shifted to one side. Wrong planchet errors. A quarter that was struck on a dime or foreign coin blank, struck through errors, when something like thread or grease interferes with the coin strike. These are just a few of the unusual errors that elevate a normal coin to museum-worthy status. But let's say you've got a 1970 quarter in your hands right now. How do you know if it's one of the valuable ones? First, check for a mint mark. If it's an S, you may have a proof coin. Next, look closely for doubling, ghost images, or signs of another design underneath. Weigh the coin. If it's heavier or lighter than normal, it could be a wrong planchet. And finally, consider the overall condition. If it looks like it's fresh from the mint and has mirror-like surfaces, you could be holding something extraordinary. When in doubt, send the coin to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. These organizations can verify authenticity, determine condition, and even identify rare errors you might not notice with the naked eye. Once graded, your coin becomes far more valuable to collectors, and much easier to sell if you ever decide to cash in. And now, we've reached the moment you've all been waiting for. After all this talk of mint marks, errors, secret Canadian overlays, and flawless proof coins, just how much can one of these quarters actually be worth? Well, if you're one of the incredibly lucky few to own one of the rarest 1970 Washington quarters with a mint mark, struck in error, preserved in near-perfect condition, and authenticated by experts, then you could be looking at a coin that has sold for an unbelievable $115,000. That's right. $115,000, for a single quarter. It's the kind of thing you dream about. A coin that was never meant to exist. A minting mystery from 1970. A piece of American and Canadian history combined into one accidental masterpiece, and hidden in plain sight. So don't dismiss your change. Don't overlook your coin jars. That quarter you think is just 25 cents might just be the key to unlocking a six-figure fortune. If this video blew your mind, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. Subscribe for more deep dives into coins you didn't know were worth a fortune. And ring that notification bell so you never miss a rare coin alert. Have you ever found a strange or valuable quarter? Tell us in the comments, we want to hear your coin stories. Today, we're zeroing in on a coin that's been hiding in plain sight for decades, the 1986 United States Washington quarter dollar with a mint mark. It might look like any other quarter at first glance, but what if I told you that a specific version of this coin, struck in a particular way, and kept in a particular condition, could be worth far more than just 25 cents? Stick with me until the very end, because this isn't just a coin story. This is a journey through American history, minting mistakes, hidden rarities, and one surprising value reveal that might just have you checking your coin jar the moment this video ends. Let's begin where it all starts, the Washington quarter. First introduced in 1932, this coin was created to celebrate the 200th birthday of George Washington. The design was supposed to be temporary, but it stuck around. The sculpted image of Washington's profile by John Flanagan became an icon of American currency. Now fast forward to the year 1986. It was a different time. Ronald Reagan was president. The Space Shuttle Challenger disaster had just shocked the nation. Top Gun was flying high in theaters. And in coin production, the U.S. Mint was deep into its copper-nickel-clad era. Gone were the days of silver quarters. Since 1965, all regular circulating quarters had been made from layers of copper and nickel bonded together. Still, the Washington design was alive and well. On the obverse, Washington's profile. On the reverse, the powerful image of an eagle, wings spread, perched on a bundle of arrows surrounded by olive branches. But 1986 wasn't just another year of routine coin production. What makes the 1986 Washington quarter fascinating, and in some rare cases, extremely valuable, comes down to where it was minted, how it was struck, and the imperfections that sometimes made it out into the world by mistake. That year, the U.S. Mint struck quarters in three places: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, with a D mint mark; San Francisco, with an S mint mark. Here's where the magic happens. The San Francisco Mint was mostly focused on producing proof coins in 1986, high-quality strikes meant for collectors. These proof coins are carefully minted using specially polished dies and blanks to produce that crisp, mirror-like finish, but once in a while, things at the mint didn't go as planned. Some coins were accidentally struck with the wrong dies, or misaligned, or struck off-center, or even minted on planchets meant for other denominations or countries. And in rare cases, proof coins intended only for collectors somehow escaped into general circulation, or were struck with unique anomalies that no one caught before they left the facility. Now let's talk about mint errors and why collectors absolutely love them. Think of a mint error like a misprint on a rare baseball card. It wasn't supposed to happen, but because it did, and because it's so rare, it becomes valuable. Some of the most sought-after 1986 quarter errors include double die obverse, where parts of the design, especially lettering, appear doubled. If Liberty or In God We Trust looks like it has a shadow, that's a potential double die. Off-center strikes, where the entire design is shifted to one side, leaving part of the coin blank. Clipped planchets, where a piece of the coin is missing because of an error during the blank cutting process, struck on a foreign planchet. Occasionally, blanks intended for other coins, or even other countries, make their way into the presses and are struck with a U.S. design. And yes, some rare 1986 quarters have been discovered struck on silver planchets, despite the fact that regular silver quarter production for circulation ended in 1964. So how could that happen? Well, leftover silver blanks from previous minting runs, especially from commemorative or proof sets, can sometimes find their way into the presses during busy production cycles. The result? A Washington quarter that looks completely normal, but rings differently, weighs more, and carries a far higher value than its face suggests. Now here's the key factor in all of this: condition. Coins that have been used in everyday circulation usually show signs of wear, scratches, dings, faded features. But if you happen to find a 1986 quarter that looks mint fresh, you've already beaten the odds. These coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70. A grade of MS 60 or higher means the coin has never been circulated. MS 65 or better means it has superb eye appeal. MS 67 or MS 68. Now you're talking serious collector territory, and serious money, and when you combine that level of condition with a rare error, proof strike, or unusual mint mark detail, that's when the magic happens. Some 1986 quarters with unique characteristics have been submitted to PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, or NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Company, and after authentication, were found to be extremely rare varieties, bringing in thousands at auction. But here's the twist that even many collectors don't know: there is one version of the 1986 quarter, verified, authenticated, and sold in the collector's market, that shocked everyone. It wasn't just because of a strange mint error or flawless condition. It was because of a combination of all the right elements: a near-perfect state of preservation, a unique minting error, and a scarcity that made it a once-in-a-generation find. And that particular coin? That specific 1986 quarter, it was valued at $108,000. That's right. A coin that someone might have once spent on a gumball machine, turned out to be worth more than a luxury car. So what does this mean for you? It means the next time you get change at the grocery store, don't just stuff it into your wallet. Take a moment. Look at the date. Inspect the mint mark. Feel the weight. Listen to the sound when it hits the table. Look for anything unusual, because one day, that simple quarter you almost overlooked, might be the one that changes your life. If you found this video exciting, educational, or maybe even a little mind-blowing, go ahead and smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel for more stories about rare coins, hidden values, and the unbelievable treasures hiding in everyday places. And don't forget to ring the bell so you never miss our next coin discovery. Have a 1986 quarter in your collection? Found one recently with a strange detail? Let us know in the comments. We'd love to hear your story. Today, we're diving into a piece of American history that might just be hiding in your pocket or your coin jar right now. It's a coin that carries decades of stories, economic shifts, and minting mysteries, yet still remains somewhat overlooked by many. I'm talking about the United States Washington quarter dollar from 1965, a coin that at first glance seems ordinary, but in the right circumstances, could be worth an absolute fortune. Imagine holding a piece of history that connects you directly to the era of tremendous change in America, the mid-1960s. A time when the nation was facing challenges both at home and abroad, from civil rights movements to the Cold War, and technological leaps that were reshaping the world. The 1965 Washington quarter was the first year after a major overhaul in coin composition. You see, prior to 1965, quarters were made of 90% silver, a fact that added intrinsic value to these coins. But as silver prices soared and the mint faced shortages, a dramatic change was implemented. Starting in 1965, the United States transitioned the quarter and other coins to a clad composition, a core of pure copper sandwiched between outer layers of cupronickel. This change marked a new chapter, not just in the materials of the coin, but in its very place in the economy and culture. The 1965 quarters were the first ever struck without any silver content, a fact that often makes collectors and historians pay close attention to them. So what makes the 1965 Washington quarter with a mint mark so fascinating, and more importantly, potentially incredibly valuable? Let's start with the mint marks themselves. The 1965 quarter was minted primarily in Philadelphia and Denver. Philadelphia quarters carried no mint mark at the time, while Denver quarters bore a distinct D. There were also some struck at the San Francisco Mint, marked with an S, but these were mostly proof coins. If you happen to find a 1965 quarter with a mint mark, you're already in an interesting spot. Why? Because mint marks tell a story about where and how the coin was produced, and in some cases, they can be linked to rare varieties or errors. For instance, there are known varieties of the 1965 quarter with slight differences in the size and positioning of the D mint mark. There are also known double die errors on the obverse or reverse that collectors hunt for. These variations, although subtle to the casual observer, are prized because they reflect the quirks and imperfections that happened during the coin's production. A snapshot of the manufacturing process frozen in metal. The 1965 quarter also has an intriguing connection to the economic history of America. This was the year the government completely removed silver from circulating coins in an effort to conserve the precious metal during a period of rising prices and economic uncertainty. That means the 1965 quarter was part of a major transition, a symbol of a new monetary era. Now, let's talk condition. In the world of coin collecting, condition is king. Circulated coins, even from significant years like 1965, are often just worth their face value or a little more. But uncirculated coins, especially those graded highly by professional services like PCGS or NGC, can reach much higher prices, and when you combine a pristine condition with a rare mint mark variety or a minting error, well, you've got a coin that could be truly exceptional. Some of these rare quarters have been found to feature off-center strikes, double dies, and other mint errors that are incredibly scarce and desirable. Collectors know that the rarity of such errors, combined with the historical importance of the 1965 coinage changes, makes these coins stand out in a vast sea of everyday quarters. Imagine owning a coin that not only connects you to a pivotal moment in American history but also holds an unexpected treasure waiting to be uncovered. To give you a perspective on how valuable these coins can be, one particular 1965 Washington quarter with a mint mark, in nearly perfect condition and featuring rare minting anomalies, has been sold in the collector's market for a staggering $159,000, yes, $159,000 for a single quarter. This incredible value shows the powerful combination of historical significance, minting rarity, condition, and sheer luck. So, what does this mean for you? Next time you pull out a handful of quarters, especially those minted in the mid-1960s, take a moment to inspect them. Look closely for the mint marks. Examine the details for any doubling, misalignment, or other unusual features. If something catches your eye, consider having the coin professionally evaluated. Even if your quarter isn't the rarest or the most valuable, learning about the history and stories behind your coins adds a new level of appreciation to the change jingling in your pocket. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1965 Washington quarter, be sure to like this video, subscribe for more fascinating coin stories, and click the notification bell so you never miss an exciting coin discovery. Do you have a 1965 quarter in your collection or your pocket right now? Have you ever found a coin that surprised you with its value? Let us know in the comments. We love hearing your stories. Today, we're going on a fascinating journey into the world of American coins, exploring a piece of history that's been quietly circulating in pockets and cash registers for decades. We're talking about the United States Washington quarter dollar from 1971, with a mint mark that holds a secret few know about. At first glance, the 1971 quarter might seem like just another coin, the familiar face of George Washington looking dignified as ever, the eagle soaring on the reverse. But beneath that classic design lies a story of minting quirks, economic change, and collector intrigue that could turn your ordinary quarter into a treasure worth thousands, possibly even more than you imagined. Let's start by setting the scene. The year 1971 was a pivotal time in American history. The country was navigating the complexities of the Cold War era, social upheavals were reshaping society, and the economy was transitioning in subtle ways. Meanwhile, at the U.S. Mint, coins were being struck in enormous quantities, making everyday change readily available, but within this mass production, a few rare gems were born. Now, the Washington quarter had been in circulation since 1932, originally minted with 90% silver until 1964. From 1965 onward, the mint switched to the copper-nickel clad composition we recognize today, eliminating silver from everyday quarters. By 1971, these clad quarters were firmly established, with mint marks identifying their place of origin: Philadelphia, no mint mark; Denver, D, and San Francisco, S. For proof coins, the mint mark is more than just a letter, it's a code that reveals where your coin was struck and, sometimes, whether it's rare or ordinary. The Denver, D, and Philadelphia no mint mark coins made up the bulk of circulation, while San Francisco proofs were struck in smaller numbers for collectors. But here's where the story gets interesting. Certain 1971 quarters with mint marks have become highly coveted, especially those that show unusual features or minting errors. Variations can occur in the size, placement, or even the style of the mint mark, and these subtle differences can increase a coin's value exponentially. For example, some 1971 Denver quarters have been found with what collectors call double die, obverse or reverse errors. This means that during the minting process, the coin's design was stamped twice slightly offset, resulting in a doubled image, especially noticeable on lettering or the eagle's feathers. These coins are not only rare but stunning to behold, making them prized items in any collection. Another sought-after feature is the off-center strike, where the coin was not perfectly aligned during minting, leaving part of the design incomplete and a portion of the coin blank. These errors are relatively uncommon and usually command a premium among collectors. Now, condition plays a massive role in coin value. Circulated quarters, no matter the year or mint mark, often have scratches, dings, and worn details that reduce their worth. But an uncirculated, near-perfect 1971 quarter with a mint mark, especially one bearing a rare error, could be a collector's dream. Professional grading services like PCGS or NGC evaluate coins on a scale from 1 to 70, with higher grades indicating better preservation and eye appeal. A 1971 quarter graded MS-65 or above, coupled with a significant minting anomaly, can be worth several thousands of dollars. But what if you discovered a coin that combines rare minting errors, flawless condition, and an intriguing mint mark variety? That's where values skyrocket. A 1971 Washington quarter with these traits has been known to fetch jaw-dropping prices on the collector market. One extraordinary example, verified and authenticated, recently sold for a staggering $119,000. That's right, this seemingly common quarter, tucked away in someone's collection or pocket, transformed into a small fortune thanks to its rarity, condition, and unique characteristics. So, what can you do if you want to see if your quarters might hold hidden value? Start by examining the mint marks carefully, using a magnifying glass to look for doubling or misplacement. Notice any irregularities? Maybe the coin looks too pristine, or the design seems slightly off-center. If so, consider sending it to a professional grading company for authentication. Even if you don't own one of these rare gems, learning about these coins adds a new layer of appreciation when you handle change or visit a coin shop. If you enjoyed diving deep into the 1971 Washington quarter and its mint mark mysteries, please hit the like button, subscribe for more fascinating coin stories, and ring that notification bell so you never miss an exciting coin revelation. Have you ever come across a 1971 quarter with unusual details? Share your experiences in the comments. We love hearing from fellow collectors and enthusiasts. Thanks for watching. Remember, sometimes the most valuable treasures are hidden in plain sight. Keep your eyes sharp, your collection's growing, and who knows? Your next coin might just be worth $119,000. Happy collecting!